Hi everybody, Griffin and Rain back again, here to review Ender's Game, as if you couldn't read that from the line below. We went and watched Ender's Game tonight, and she's read the book, I've not, so there'll be two perspectives on this. She'll probably rant, and I will probably just laugh. So, yes. Here we go. Final thoughts. What the hell? First impressions.
Well, the kid, perfect for the spot. He did really very, very good. I have a whole lot of thoughts on the whole thing, but initially going in, kind of dragged a little bit at first, but you know, I kind of expected that going by what I read, but. Yeah, there was a lot of things left out, a lot of things changed, and I knew it had to happen. I understand that changes have to take place, but some of the changes were just too much.
Yes, but you got to change a lot for a 2.5-hour movie compared to a 200-page book.
True, but
most scripts are about 120 pages long, so that's for an hour and 40 and 50-minute movie.
I mean, one of my biggest things is, you know, him meeting Bean on the transportation to the battle school. I mean, that just, he didn't meet Bean until quite a bit further into the whole story, which, I mean, it doesn't really negatively impact, but still, it just kind of threw me for a loop. I was not expecting him to meet him right then. And Bean played such a minor part of the whole story when he was really a major part of it.
Pretty much everybody did.
Yeah.
My original thoughts of this movie, actually, I didn't care about this movie. I have no desire really to watch it because she wanted to, so I did.
But way to throw me
being a non-book reader of Ender's Game series, whatever the hell it's called, I enjoyed it. I mean, I'd call it Ender's freaking test more than I'd call it Ender's Game, considering every freaking 5 minutes he was getting tested somehow.
Well, I mean, the reason it's called Ender's Game, though, is because throughout the whole thing...
I know it's called Ender's Game. My point being is, being a non-book reader of that, it come off more as just testing him. It was just throughout the movie. I mean, the movie's him learning a test here, him going to this place, learning a test here, him going to this place, learning a test here, and it wasn't that bad. It's just it was noticeable. You know, it's like really there's the dialogue and the side characters take a side.
Oh, they took a big backseat
to the visuals,
yes.
Which this movie was pretty. Looked really well done. It looked like it should have been in 3D, yet it wasn't. And I don't know if that was just us.
Battle School was just beautiful.
I don't know if it was just us or the one we saw, since it was 8 o'clock. But if that movie's in 3D,
done very well as a 3D movie.
If that was in 3D anywhere, go see it in 3D because it looks pretty in 2D, and I can just imagine it in 3D. But
it would have been epic in 3D.
It was made for 3D. The visuals were made for 3D, yet it wasn't.
Yeah.
That got on my nerves after a little while. What was it? Oh, okay. We have the main kid, Asa something.
Butterfield, I think is.
Butterfield. He played the lead in Hugo and a couple different British shows. Did a great job. I agree with her. He did an amazing job.
Great actor.
He
I'm going to enjoy seeing him in a lot more things.
He really had no emotion throughout, but you could still sense the emotion in his eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, he was
perfect for the Ender role.
I'm going to geek myself out here. He reminded me of Data from Star Trek. If they didn't give him emotion yet, he still felt it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, very, very good analogy there.
Let's see. Harrison Ford plays the not commander. He was like lieutenant or something. But he's the moment in charge of the army that Ender's going to save them from.
Colonel Graff is who he is.
Colonel Graff. Yeah. He did a great job being a military asshole. I mean,
yes and no. But then again, I'm looking from two different perspectives because, I mean, the Colonel Graff in the book, he cared. He cared a lot.
Well,
he didn't show Ender that, but you saw it in a lot of the other things that he did.
We've saw a lot of movies with him in the past couple of years, though, and would you say this was actually not a phoned-in performance like most of those other movies have been?
Yeah, no, he did a very good job, portraying the asshole that he was in the movie. It's just that I was really kind of disappointed in that instead of showing that, he did care about Ender, he cared a lot, but he just wasn't able to show him. He showed it to somebody else. That was the part that really left me disappointed. That and the fact that they didn't show a lot of the other things that were going on behind the scenes. I mean, it was about Ender, but it wasn't only about him.
Well, in this movie it was.
Yeah.
But that's because they have to base it around something to keep people's attention. I mean, it was just...
And the two major fights. If you've ever read the book, you know what happens in the two major fights that he has with actual people instead of with the buggers, as they're called in the book. It ends very differently in the movie than it does in the book.
Well, we'll get into that later.
Just saying.
Let's start at the beginning of it. They talk about the brother and how he's not wanting to be like him, emotional like him. Yet the brother's in one scene and pretty much
they did not flesh him out enough.
Kicks his ass for like 13 seconds, and then that's all he's really in the movie. He's in the movie later, and he's just sitting there eating dinner. It's just really, it's got nothing. The characters, that's what I wanted to say. A lot of the characters in this movie were just
brief and hidden.
Yeah, just thrown. I mean, they were throwaway characters. It was like you really could do the whole movie. You could have gone without seeing any of Ender's family, even the sister, who later on in the movie, the colonel brings her in to bring.
A lot of the emotional
bring Ender back into
the movie.
He brings her. He's like, "I'm gonna take you to Ender to convince him to rejoin the fleet." And she's like, "I'm not gonna help you rejoin the fleet." And then 3 seconds later, she's telling Ender to rejoin the fleet.
Yep.
And I'm like,
so I mean, the Peter or Ender's family is kind of like the Three Bears. You've got too hard, too soft, and just right. The older brother, Peter Wiggin, is supposed to be the one he's too aggressive. He's extremely brilliant. He has the same kind of intelligence that Ender does, but he's too aggressive. He's too ugly in the way he does things. Then you've got Valentine, who is the second child and who is, extremely intelligent as well, but she's too empathic. She's far too sweet. And so then the family is allowed to have a third child in a future where everybody's only allowed to have two. They are allowed to have a third child in the hopes that he will be...
Let me hold you there. She's telling you all this from the book because the movie tells nothing about this. You learn he's the third child. They're supposed to get permission to have a third child. That's it. Stop right there, because that's the book. It tells nothing about that in the movie.
Right.
It's... Why are you upset because you're a third child? Who the fuck knows in the movie?
Yep.
She's explaining shit that I've known nothing about. The sister... Yeah. What was her name?
Valentine? Or you're talking about her real name?
No, Valentine, yeah. In case you're wondering, I'm looking at my phone trying to look at all the actors' names.
Yeah.
I forgot her name. We said it earlier.
Yeah, we sure did. Now I can't think of it.
Abigail Breslin. Some of you may know her from Little Miss Sunshine, or the younger sister from Zombieland, which is what I remembered her from because she looked familiar. She did okay. She really didn't. I mean, they didn't flesh out her character as much as...
They didn't flesh out any of the characters enough.
With the exception of Petra. I think they did with Petra a little bit because...
Yeah, but they still left out a...
Viola Davis, is that her name?
Oh, I didn't catch her real life name.
No, never mind. That's a different one.
But...
Petra. Haley Steinfeld. And she was the only character that seemed sympathetic to him.
Well, see, I disagree. I mean, Okay, in the start of the movie, or near the start of the movie, when they bring him to the battle school, one thing that Colonel Graff says is that basically they're going to have to isolate him. They're going to have to make everybody hate him and, you know, not allow him to form ties to other people. And then the whole movie sets about tying him to the other people. Yes. While still not fleshing out the characters.
Well, I understand it to a point because he said himself, he's there to lead them, not to make friends.
Right, but they still show him as having friendships because, I mean, they have them come and sit with him at the table.
Well, yes, but he's still a child.
Even so, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they did not show the isolation that they said they were going to have to do. They did a little bit of, you know, oh, yeah, he's the best. So made everybody kind of look at him like, oh, him? And then like 5 scenes later, they're all packing around him because he's a brilliant commander.
Yep.
You know?
I mean, it's pretty fast-paced.
Yes, very, very much so.
It focused mostly on the, not really action, but mostly on the game itself. It's not really focused on the characters around it. Right. Whereas you get with Joss Whedon, a character focused around it. One character though, one person that I was looking up here, I said her name, Viola Davis, who played Major Gwen Anderson, who was what's his name's right hand
Colonel Graff.
Colonel Graff. I want to say Woody Harrelson, not Woody Harrelson.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford's right hand man, right hand woman, and not a scientist. What's it called?
Like a psychologist.
Like a psychologist, and I thought she did a great job in her role.
She really did.
She showed emotion. Really she showed tact. She showed tact. She really got into her character, and I think she did a good job. She did. Her and the one that played Ender, I think, were the ones that sold the show.
Yeah, they really was. I mean, both of them did a fantastic job, and the one who played Mazer Rackham.
Ben Kingsley.
Yes.
I didn't even have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Ben Kingsley is an amazing actor all around. You know, I love his portrayal of most anything he's done. Elegy, if you don't believe me, was a great movie, and not many people liked it. But he plays the commander that stopped the creatures to begin with from being on Earth, and it's just weird seeing Ben Kingslly, and I just loved his role in this.
He did a very good job with it. I mean, I have no complaints. It
was like he was the hero of Ender's leading the battle to them. He's going to their world to take them on, whereas Ben Kingsley stopped them in our world and at the Earth. So he's run them off, and then Ender's there to keep them away. Period. And he did a good job, but the only thing about it, his character that really rubbed me the wrong way in this movie, he says, he meets Ender, tells Ender who he is, and Ender's surprised and looks at him like, oh my God, you're the hero. What, you thought I was dead? You know, and they said it's dead and everything, and then 3 seconds later, it shows all Ender's friends, and Ben Kingsley walks in with them as Mazer Rackham, and they're all like, yeah, we know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if
no. You don't play off like the hero's dead. Nobody knows he's alive, and then the 7 people with him. Oh, well,
one thing that I think that you overlooked was that the other kids told him they had already been there training for quite some time.
Yes, but Ben Kingsley said that he wasn't known to be alive. Like the only people that got that far.
Well, yeah, but it implied that the people in the Earth.
I mean, there should have been some kind of awe moment of the kids to see their hero that they cared about. And it was just like.
But if they've already been there for months,
they had been there for months. They had been training for months, but they hadn't been command. He only trained commanders, is what he said.
Well, but, I mean, yeah. So you've got a technical issue, whereas I've got a storyline issue.
Yeah. It's technical. It's because, well, not really technical. It's emotional, because if I met my hero and didn't know he was alive, thought he was dead, and turned out he was alive. Like if I met Jim Morrison, by God, you think I'd be like, oh, hey Jim. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'd be freaking not Bill and Ted, Wayne's World. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Oh man, really? Really?
I mean,
you would do that? I would so laugh at
it's
you.
just like me and you here, like, hey. I mean, I understand.
Well, yeah, but try to play it off. I mean, come on, don't throw yourself down on your knees.
Well, anyway, they go through training school. They go through this. They go through that. They go through this game. They test this. They test that. And they end up at the final test. This is the one where if Ender defeats the simulation, he's going to go on to command the entire entire fleet, entire legion. And so he goes through it, and I ain't gonna spoil that for you. We're not gonna spoil that for him. But obviously, he wins the simulation, and this I will spoil. It wasn't a simulation; it was the actual battle for his life against the what they called again?
The buggers.
Buggers, which they don't ever say their name in the movie.
Well, yeah, they actually kind of did.
They call them bugs, but they don't call them buggers.
Well, that's because in England that means something totally different.
Oh, bugger me!
Just saying, you know.
But Ender's upset because he realizes he's committed genocide of a species, and it bothers him. And then it turns out that they're like ants. They have a queen that controls them, and if the queen is not there to control them, they just don't know what to do and wander around aimlessly. So he ends up going out onto this outpost, which is a moon of the bugs world. And why am I getting a freaking Starship Trooper feeling? But they go to this outpost, and he ends up going outside the outpost and meeting the queen, or a queen of the species, one that's only left. The last queen, who has a child, or what would that be? Because larva. It was an egg of another queen. Was it an egg?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, it looked weird, but it was obviously the larva, the egg of another queen, and she's about to kill Ender, and I guess she realizes he was going to take care of her, he's going to do something because she was dying, and somebody had to take care of the egg. So he becomes commander of the fleet. He is given all rights to do whatever the hell he wants, given a ship, and it ends with him taking the eggs somewhere. And I understand it ends there, but it leaves it open for the next movie. That I really have a problem with.
I'm not sure they're going to be able to pull off, because a lot of the rest of the story is more in your
cerebral.
mind. Yeah, it's a lot more cerebral.
Well, they did. They did that with this movie. A lot of he was sending emails and stuff, but it was monologuing, mental monologuing, and
I felt like they could have done a lot more with the mind game. Yes, they did bring the mind game in, but they could have done a lot more with it in showing that, that was how the queen got in contact with him.
Any of you that watch these videos or watch my top 10, top 13, whatever it was, know I love The Princess Bride. And this mental game is choose your poison. One of these glasses is poison, one of it is not.
Yes.
And Ender chooses one, then chooses the other. And it's a test to see how he handles frustration. Mm-hmm. But the whole time I'm thinking, you will not choose the one in front of me because I...
Oh, no. Really? You were channeling the Princess Bride? But
because of that movie, I knew that both were poison, so I would have not chose either. And then they play it off, and Ender doesn't choose either. And he's playing a rat, and the rat's got to choose one or the other. And the rat jumps on top of one of the wine glasses and jumps at the creature, telling him to choose, and chews out his fucking eye.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that, but it was just
I was expecting it.
But it was just like, well, you've read the books. I don't even know if that's in the books.
Still a movie.
But it was just like, why do you keep choosing the left or the right? You're not stupid. He's not stupid though.
He's not stupid.
They're gonna trust the entire freaking.
Well, but think of it, okay? The mind game started out as a child's game. Even though he's a child, he has the intellect of an adult. So he's going to look at it in an adult way, and try to do one thing then another. Bite me, asshole.
Of course he's a child, but if they're trusting the entire fleet in his hands, they freaking ought to trust that he's not stupid enough to go, oh, well, I'm going to keep picking the left. Oh, I'm going to keep picking right. He
They were, but they still needed to see how he would deal with the frustration of all of his choices ending in him
didn't know the
dying.
frustration. He chewed the fucking thing's eye out.
Well, again, going back to the book, that was where the mind game in the book was so much more expansive, because there was so many more things that he did. He died over and over and over again in different ways.
Can you not read right there? What does that say? Griffin and Rain review Ender's Game movie. This ain't about the book.
Oh man.
I'm being mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he is sorry. I will say he is very sorry.
I'm sorry.
You are sorry.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. No, I wasn't saying you was apologetic. I was saying you're sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry completely. But it was just like there's a lot of things that focused on the testing, the training, and I understand why it did, but it was just like, but you read the book, so I can understand. But it was just the movie was lacking in development. Visually, it was beautiful. The games themselves were amazingly well done. The 0G gravity was awesome. The
battle school was
awesome. But it was just, I saw it in Star Trek. I mean, you see the pretty visuals and you want to know more. And Star Trek gets into more of the character development. This really didn't get into character development except for Ender. I mean, even the Colonel. Why the Colonel that way? It probably explains in the book, doesn't it?
Why
the Colonel's such a hard ass?
Yeah, it does.
And in this movie, it doesn't. I mean, that's the problem with movies, book to movies, is that it leaves out a lot of the details, and it did in this one.
I felt like they could have developed him further. I mean, it really wouldn't have took that much effort to show that Colonel Graff, even though he cared about Ender a lot, he cared about humanity more.
But that's the problem with movies. They got to be in a certain period of time.
Yeah.
It's only got to be an hour and a half. We could get away with Lord of the Rings being this long because it's Lord of the Rings, but Ender's Game is not that popular as Lord of the Rings. If Ender's Game had a cult following like some of these books and some of these things, it could have been a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Well, I can hope that at some point in the future they will, go back and do a better job.
Well, this is a young adult movie, young adult book. I said movie. Well, folks, we filled the card up, so I switched to a new card. So I don't know where we left off. We done forgot now. So we're just going to go straight into our final thoughts of the movie.
My final thoughts are, if you haven't read the book, it's definitely worth going seeing. It's got beautiful visuals. The storyline's pretty good, a little shaky, but it's still well worth watching. If you've read the book, prepare to be disappointed.
And my thoughts are just seeing the movie and not seeing the book, or not reading the book. I enjoyed it. I think it's a fun time. And I know what I was saying earlier. It's I think adults would enjoy this as much as kids. It's a young adult movie, but to be honest with you, I really enjoyed it. So, my suggestion is recommend, even go see it in theater. If there's nothing out that week, go and see it. If Thor's out like it is next week, we'll see another video of ours. Then go see Thor.
Yeah.
But if you've already seen Thor and you want to watch a movie, this is a good second chance. So we'll be back in just a minute with trailers. Okay, now on the trailers. First trailer up was
Catching Fire.
Catching Fire. I'm looking forward to this movie. Completely looking forward to it. I've read the books and saw the first movie. First movie was okay. It wasn't bad. And I really think this is the creme de la creme of the book. And I think it's going to be really good movie-wise, too. It's not going to be, I expect it, like you said, I expect it not to be exactly like the book. But I really have high hopes looking at the trailers.
I'm reserving judgment. I mean, just visually going by the commercials, it looks like it's going to be really good. But I don't trust commercials. I just don't, because it always shows the best. So I'm reserving judgment. I'm hopeful, but cautiously hopeful.
Well, two of the trailers really kind of did that for me. Like, but there was one that the long trailer was just made it look amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they're supposed to do, too. They're supposed to draw you
Well,
into
whoever
going
did
and
that,
seeing it.
whoever did
So,
number 2, the second
yeah.
one, you need an Oscar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely want to see it. I do want to see it in theaters, but, I'm still kind of reserving myself because I don't want to be disappointed. So.
Understandable. Trailer 2.
That would be I, Frankenstein, that has Aaron Eckhart and Bill Nighy in it from Underworld.
I was going to the bathroom at the time, so I didn't see this preview, but I've seen it online, and
Oh, man.
freaking love it. I mean, it looks so weird.
Come on,
campy.
a Kung Fu Frankenstein. I mean,
Which it's like Machete. I just think
Yes.
it's gonna be so weird
It's gonna
and
be
amazing
campy,
that
I
it's gonna be
think.
great.
the monsters, you can definitely tell that they're CGI. So I mean, I'm
A sexy Frankenstein. Did you ever have that in your life?
Yeah, okay. So apparently Frankenstein has been alive for well over 200 years, and it's. I don't know if they're gonna take DNA and try to clone him or what the hell's going on, but it just looks like one of those.
I
That's
think
gonna
Van
be super
Helsing
weird.
with Aaron Eckhart, but Aaron Eckhart is a great freaking actor, like Hugh
That he
Jackman
is,
is.
and so is Bill Nighy. So you know.
Well, Bill Nighy has been in so much. It's just I love him as a bad guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to see it. I definitely want to see it.
I don't know
It looks
if it'll be a theater, unless if there's something not really, if there's nothing playing that week, we might watch it.
Yeah.
But if it's like, if it's just that and nothing else, yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's something else against it, okay.
If it's something we really want to see, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I do want to see it, so.
I freaking
Let's see. Number 3 is 47 Ronin. I think we've actually talked about that one before.
We've talked about that one. Keanu Reeves as a samurai master.
With his surfer boy voice. 47 Ronin, surfer style. I mean, come on.
I know Kung Fu.
And 47 other bad sounding words. So
Morpheus teaches off 47 of them.
the blue pill or the red pill?
Show me.
Yeah. So
Dude.
I want to see it, but I'm not sure I'm
Oh,
going to
it's
see it in the theater.
no. I'm going to theater to see it. If you go, so be it. It's going to be so campy and so stupid that I'm just going to fall in love like I did with Machete.
Well, the visuals
like I did
look
with
like it's going to
Machete
be great.
Kills. Like I did with Machete Kills. It was so
Yeah.
stupid. It was wonderful.
Hey, well, I'll give it that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting something to blow me away. If it does, great, but I just don't see it.
I know Kung Fu.
Okay. Oh, and Delivery Man. Were you still gone when that one was playing?
I guess so.
Dude finds out, it's Vince Vaughn, finds out
Oh,
that,
I came up at the end of that.
oh man, he apparently is a sperm donor, and due to a mix-up, is now the proud father of 533 children who are looking for their father. And
Wow, I'm so glad I missed most of that preview.
I want to see it, but I want to see it because I just expect it to be so horrible. I expect it to be a train wreck of a movie.
At this point, I mean, some of the older movies okay, but at this point, I just fucking hate Vince Vaughn. Cannot stand it. It's like Will Ferrell. Up to Elf, I loved his movies, and then he did Elf, and
Elf
everyone since
sucked.
then. All of them since then have been shit. I mean, Talladega Nights was a rare exception.
Yeah.
But that's probably just because we're from the South and used to NASCAR and kind of look at people like that sometimes.
Oh my God! Yeah, he does remind you of family members, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Sadly.
So it's kind of that's a given. Step Brothers. I mean, there's a gem in the few, but
yeah, but for
most
the most part,
overall,
it's just like
God.
just somebody tape
Just
his mouth shut.
Somebody get rid of him. Yeah. Tom Burgundy, that whatever Burgundy guy. Anchorman. I couldn't care less about the first one. I couldn't care less about this one.
I haven't seen it. Don't want to see it.
What
It
would you
just
know Will
looks
Ferrell's name? Will
retarded.
Ferrell movie. Vince Vaughn. I do not want to watch you. She does. There you go.
I want to see it, but I don't want to see it in theaters. I want to see it like on a dollar rental.
I won't even rent it. I'll Netflix it if it ever comes there.
Okay, and Desolation of Smog. I want to see
What's
it.
the point of talking about it? It's The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. We're geeks. We're gonna go watch it theater. You're gonna get a preview. Just
Definitely, yeah.
whether it's good or bad, it's gonna be watched.
Yeah, I just want to see it because I
gonna
want
be
to see.
watched.
I want to see what they make him look like. I just want to see the dragon.
The voice of the dragon was good. I like that.
Yes, it was.
I didn't say we're going to go watch it.
Okay.
Good or bad.
And I'll be honest with you. I don't remember what this one was about. The Monuments Men.
The Monuments Men. It actually has some pretty good actors in it. It had George Clooney. It had
about the
John Goodman, Bill Murray. It's
set in World War II.
Yeah, it's about soldiers who are going to recapture works of art and stuff that Hitler has stolen and hidden and keep from destroying.
And it's based on a true story, so based on real events.
It looked really interesting. Really, it's one of those that I'm like.
That's one of my guilty pleasures. I like World War II movies.
I hate to say it, but it kind of reminds me of Saving Private Ryan with a joke side to it.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be really good. I definitely want to see it. I like World War II movies.
Matt Damon was in that too. Yeah, Matt Damon was in it.
There was a lot of names.
Matt Damon, George Clooney, Bill Murray, John Goodman, and Cate Blanchett was the 5 main stars. And there was
really a bunch of others that I recognize the face but don't know the name. Yeah, so I mean, it looks like it's going to be really good.
They're A- actors or B actors, if you want.
Yeah, we'll just say A- because I mean, you know who they are.
You know who they are because
I'm
they've been
sorry,
in much
but like now his name is escaping me. Machete. I mean, he's one of them.
Danny Trejo.
You know who
or
he
Danny
is.
Trejo.
But I mean, you know who he is. You know because he's in a whole bunch of stuff, but he's still listed as a B actor.
So is Bruce Campbell, and I love him. So.
Yeah, so I don't like.
Make love the Bruce Campbell way. Movie needs to be made. I'm claiming it. Bruce, make that movie. Make love the Bruce Campbell way. Base it on the book.
Oh,
it
wow.
was great. It's actually a good book.
Okay, so, and the last one, I'll confess, I have absolutely zero desire to see Vampire Academy.
Oh, God, if I see another vampire.
Zero
This
desire.
is Mortal Instruments, Twilight, The Host. What's the fucking show on CW? Vampire Diaries. Vampire Diaries. It's all this teenage vampire shit mixed into trying to make money.
Oh my God, it's teenage angst displayed across the screen.
Yep.
Okay, there's enough teenage angst. Okay, you're young.
There's enough
the world is against
angst.
you. Just
there's
stop.
enough teenage vampire angst. I mean,
yes.
There was nothing interesting about this movie other than the hot women it had in it. And that's not enough to get me to the seat. That's enough to get me to watch it on Skinamax freaking midnight, but it's not going to get me to watch it,
Yeah, no. Zero desire, none whatsoever. I'm done with the whole teenage movie thing, because,
I never started on it.
Well, I mean...
I don't even get no. I don't give a shit about Twilight.
I don't have an opinion?
Not on Twilight. I don't know if it involves Twilight. No.
Oh no, it doesn't involve Twilight at all.
If it involves Mortal Instruments, no.
I've never seen it. I don't have any desire to.
If it involves anything that I don't want to hear, no.
Oh wow, because it's all about you.
Exactly.
No, it's about the viewers. Maybe they care. Maybe they care about. Yeah, but maybe they care about my opinion.
Well, it ain't mine. It's the company.
If you care about my opinion, please comment below.
Yeah.
So
nobody cares about your opinion.
Yeah, bite me.
They won't watch this long. Anyway, thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment. Feel free to comment on her. Don't bite my finger. If we'd like to hear from y'all, we'd like to know if there's a movie y'all'd like us to review that's already been out, or if you'd like to know our thoughts.
If it's a horrible movie, that's even better, because then we get to see him bitch.
Oh, I hate to bitch.
I love to see you bitch. It's funny as hell.
I hate to bitch. I want to like movies.
Thank
you and have a good... shut up. Thank you and have a good day.